Good morning students. In this video we'll study about the permanent tissue. What is permanent tissue? So the plant tissue which have lost their ability to divide. So such type of tissue is known as permanent tissue. So this permanent tissue is further divided into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So simple permanent tissue are those permanent tissue which are made up of one type of cells. But on the other hand, complex permanent tissue are those plant tissue which are made up of more than one type of cells. Simple permanent tissue, they are further categorized into three different types, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Similarly, complex permanent tissue, they are further divided into xylem and phloem. So mainly in this video we will try to study about the simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. What is their structure, location and function in plant body. So structure of parenchyma. Parenchyma cells are isodimetric, that is more or less equally expanded on all sides. They are found in various shapes and sizes such as oval, spherical, polygonal. Sometimes they may be elongated also. They have thin cell walls made up of cellulose. They may either be closely packed or have small intercellular spaces between them. They are living cells and contain dense cytoplasm. The cells have a distinct nucleus and a large central vacuole. So this is the characteristic features of the structure of the parenchyma. So in this diagram you can see that the cells, they are loosely arranged. So this is the cross section of the parenchyma and this is the longitudinal section of the parenchymatous tissue, and this is one individual cell of the parenchyma. Now come to the location of parenchyma, in which part of the plant body these parenchymatous cells they are located. So parenchyma is the most common and the least specialized tissue. It forms the fundamental or ground tissue in the non-woody or soft areas of the stem, roots, leaves, flowers and fruits. It is present in pith, cortex and medullary rays of stem and roots and mesophils of leaves. So these are the areas in plant body where these parenchymatous cells they are present. And what is pith, cortex, medullary rays? We will study later, then it will be clear to you. Now come to the function of parenchyma. It basically forms the packing tissue between more specialized tissue. The main function of parenchyma is storage of food material. For example, in case of potato tubers, they store starch in amyloplast. In leaves, spongy parenchyma have a number of intercellular spaces between them, allowing exchange of gases. Parenchyma cells of leaves contain chlorophyll and are called sclerenchyma. They carry photosynthesis and manufacture sugar and starch. So this is all about the function of parenchyma. In aquatic plants, the parenchyma they modified as arenchyma due to the presence of number of air cavity, or we can say large air cavity. So they provide buoyancy in the aquatic plant and they help in the floating. Now come to the structure of collenchyma. So that collenchyma is the second type of simple permanent tissue. So collenchyma consists of somewhat elongated cells which may be circular, oval or polygonal in cross section. They have thin cell walls but are irregularly thickened at the corners due to the deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So this is very important point. The cells of the collenchyma they show deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. There is no intercellular space between the cells. Like parenchyma, they are living cells and have distinct nucleus and dense cytoplasm. So this is the structure of the collenchymatous tissue. So this is the cross section. If you look at the cross section of collenchyma, then we can observe this type of diagram, and in this diagram you can clearly see the deposition of that lignin, sorry, that pectin, and this is the cross section of that collenchyma. Now come to the location of collenchyma, in which part of the plant body these collenchymatous tissue they will be located. So they are generally distributed as a homogeneous layer or in patches in the peripheral portion of stems and leaves. They frequently occur in regions of the plants which are growing rapidly and need to be strengthened. They are present below the epidermis in dicot stems and in the petiole and midrib of dicot leaves. So this is the location of collenchyma tissue. Now come to the function of collenchyma. What is the function of this collenchymatous tissue in plant body? So their primary function is to give mechanical support to the growing part of the plant, such as young stem and petiole of leaves. They provide flexibility to the organs in which they occur. Since they contain chloroplast, they also manufacture sugar and starch. Now come to the third type of simple permanent tissue, which is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma cells, when mature, are dead and without any protoplasm. They are long, narrow and thick-walled cells with tapered ends. They have thick cell walls due to deposition of waterproof material called lignin. Sclerenchymatous cells are closely packed without intercellular space. So this is the diagram of that sclerenchymatous tissue. If we'll cut the cross section, then it will look like this. So in this diagram you can see that cells are compactly packed and there will be deposition of a waterproof substance, which is the lignin. And these sclerenchymatous tissue, they are further divided into two types, that is fiber and sclerites. So this is the fiber and this is the sclerites, which is also known as stone cells. Now come to the location of sclerenchyma. They are present in xylem and phloem. They are also found in cells of nuts, in hard seeds and pulp of pear. So this is the location of the sclerenchyma. Now function of sclerenchyma. So their main function is to give mechanical support to the plant body. Types of sclerenchyma. So there are two different types of sclerenchyma, that is fibers and sclerites. So fibers, they are elongated cells with pointed ends. They can be spun like fibers and used for making of ropes, occurs in bundles and they give mechanical support. On the other hand, sclerites, they are spherical or irregular in shape, cannot be spun like fibers, occur in loose groups and give hardness to seed coat. So this is all about the types of sclerenchyma. In next video we will study about the complex permanent tissue, which is the xylem and phloem. Thank you.